It is a Tuesday night, and you are alone in your living room, mesmerized by the cold blue illumination of your smartphone as you scroll through dinner options. The hush in your home is almost comforting, mundane and safe. But an unfamiliar notification cleaves through the quiet. An anonymous text, startlingly specific. Nice try with the curtains, but you forgot the bedroom window. Tell your wife we love her meatloaf. The familiar walls around you are suddenly not protection, but exposure. Every shadow seems to lurk with silent intent. Every memory of privacy evaporates. Survival protocols, half-remembered from briefing packets and dry government lectures, race through your mind. You now inhabit the last act of a failed reinvention. The witness once hidden, now found. Hollywood lied. There is no magic in a fresh haircut, new glasses, and a fabricated backstory. The federal agents and starchy new identity cannot defend you from the science working against you. Identity resolution. An adversary, professional or obsessive, aggregates enough digital residue to reconstruct the ghost of your real life. Your grocery purchases, the Wi-Fi ping, photos sent from your kitchen, jogging routes from your smartwatch, each a harmless wisp alone, but together, replicating your existence with terrifying fidelity. Panic claws at your throat, but you channel it into action. The first step is technological self-amputation, digital quarantine. Your phone feels like a live explosive. You power it down, fingers trembling, and wrench the battery out. It goes into the waiting Faraday pouch, as does your laptop. Your smartwatch, a birthday gift from your wife, joins its cousins in digital purgatory, encased in conductive mesh. For a moment, you are unreachable. You have bought yourself silence, but no real security. You have bought yourself minutes, maybe less. The second step is physical. You peer through a gap in your not-quite-closed bedroom curtains, the detail that gave you away. Outside, only the sodium haze of streetlights and wavering shadows of tree branches. You resist the urge to flee out the front, a predictable, fatal move. Instead, you recall the doctrine, urban camouflage. Blend, evict patterns, become invisible. You gather only the essentials, emergency go bag, cash, analog map, and a small battered revolver, more symbol than weapon. You slip into the basement, exit through the forgotten hatch beneath the porch, careful not to disturb the dog next door. Your route is circuitous, unpredictably zigged when your adversary would expect a zag. You slide between hedges, scale backyard fences, muting each footfall. At the empty playground 4 blocks away, your hands finally stop shaking. You force yourself to think past adrenaline. Who was the breach? Was it the constant delivery apps, the birthday call, the photo of your new cat? There is no way to know. The fundamental betrayal is not a leak, but the cumulative hazard of living an ordinary modern life. Every comfort a vulnerability, every convenience a potential tell. You must outlast the hunt with radical transformation. You vow no more digital footprints, no patterns, no dependencies, no contact with anyone from the old world. You will become your own intelligence agency, your own shadow. Above you, a pair of headlights scans the empty streets. The tactical relocation from a compromised home is not a run. It is a calculated breach of your own perimeter. You cannot simply flee into the night, because the night, viewed through the lens of modern surveillance, is an illusion. Streetlights, traffic cameras, private doorbell cameras, and automated license plate readers have transformed the urban landscape into a vast, low-light panopticon. The science at play here is the physics of light and optics, specifically the way silicon-based image sensors in cameras capture infrared and visible light differently than the human eye. To exploit this, you must understand the principle of glare and angle. A camera's dynamic range is limited. Moving directly under a light source and looking up creates a high-contrast situation where your face becomes a silhouette, overwhelming the sensor's ability to resolve detail. You move close to walls, using the building itself to break up your human silhouette, which motion detection algorithms are trained to recognize as a vertically oriented, moving heat source. But this is tactical evasion, a short-term fix. The deeper, more terrifying misunderstanding of this phase is that the danger is purely external. In reality, the most immediate threat is now your own psychology. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, is screaming for you to sprint, to get as far away as possible, as fast as possible. This is the prehistoric flight response, and if you obey it, you will die. The hidden science governing your next move is behavioral geography, the study of how individuals navigate space based on their cognitive map of an area. A panicked person will run in a straight line, following the path of least resistance, the main roads, the well-lit streets, the familiar routes. Your adversary knows this. They are not chasing you. They are predicting you. They are calculating your likely escape vectors based on the geometry of your known world, your commute, your favorite coffee shop, the quickest route to the highway. The evidence of this predictability is found in the data from countless manhunts and stalking cases. Pursuers consistently overrun their targets by getting ahead of them, not by staying behind them. To survive, you must invert your cognitive map. You must move into the interstitial spaces that exist on no GPS app, alleyways that cut between commercial buildings, maintenance paths behind strip malls, the drainage culverts that run beneath residential streets. You are not just fleeing a location, you are fleeing the predictive model of your own behavior. The survival implications are stark. You must become unpredictable to yourself. You must make random, high-cost decisions. You see a subway entrance. Your instinct is to descend, to hide underground. But the station is a choke point, a kill box with limited exits and ubiquitous cameras. The smarter move might be to scale a fence into a construction site, accepting the risk of injury for the reward of a route that cannot be anticipated. This brings you to the first true threshold of survival, the acquisition of a sterile vehicle. You cannot use your own car. It is as compromised as your home. Its GPS history, its Bluetooth connections, its very license plate are all threads leading back to you. You cannot call a ride share. That creates a digital record tied to your financial identity. You must obtain a vehicle through means that leave no digital fingerprint. This is the principle of lateral movement in operational security, accessing a resource not directly, but through an unassociated vector. You might find a car with keys left in the ignition outside a 24-hour convenience store, a common occurrence in low-crime residential fringe areas. You pull into the parking lot of a sprawling, anonymous motel chain located near a highway interchange. This seems like a safe haven, a cash-only business, a transient population. But you are walking into a different kind of trap. The motel is a nexus of data. The clerk will have a camera behind the desk. The parking lot is monitored by the motel's own system, often fed to the cloud. The moment you walk in, you are adding yourself to a database. The fundamental misunderstanding at this stage is that anonymity can be found by simply avoiding official identification. In reality, anonymity is a performance, an active and exhausting act of blending. The hidden science here is social signaling theory, which explains how humans make instantaneous judgments about others based on micro-expressions, clothing, posture, and eye contact. A person in witness protection or on the run is vibrating with a frequency of stress that is perceptible to others, especially to those who are trained to see it, like a motel clerk in a high-crime area. You are broadcasting signals of fear, darting eyes, a tense posture, an unwillingness to make normal small talk. To a predator, or to law enforcement, you glow like a firefly in the dark. You must counter this with the science of emotional regulation and cognitive reframing. You must consciously slow your breathing, lowering your heart rate and the associated stress hormones that fuel the visible signals of panic. You must adopt a cover story for your own mind. You are not a fugitive. You are a long-haul trucker whose rig broke down, a traveling salesperson whose car was repossessed. You choose a role that explains your lack of luggage, your exhaustion, your desire to pay in cash. The evidence of success in this realm is behavioral inertia. If you can hold the story in your head for the 5 minutes it takes to rent the room, your body will relax into it. You pay with crumpled bills from the emergency cash you had hidden in the lining of your jacket, a principle of redundancy that must be baked into any survival plan. Never rely on a single resource cache. You register under a name that is utterly mundane, a John Smith or a Maria Garcia, a name that will blend into the hundreds of others on the motel's handwritten ledger, which they will eventually digitize and upload. You take the room on the ground floor at the far end of the building, with a window that opens onto a field, not the parking lot. You now have a temporary base, but it is a base that is already compromised by your presence. The immediate survival implications are harsh. You cannot rest. Not yet. You have work to do. You must begin the process of purging your identity and building a new one from the raw materials of the environment. You have made the transition from the hunted animal to the calculating survivor, but the next escalation is already beginning. The predator you fled is not a dumb beast. They are a thinking, adaptive human. And they are now analyzing the digital and physical debris you left in your wake, reconstructing your path, and beginning the next phase of the hunt.